from Beehive, which is a book prescribed by CBSE, and you all know about it. So here you can see the picture of the poet Geet Patel. So Geet Patel is an Indian poet, playwright, painter, as well as practicing physician. He belongs to a group of writers who have subscribed themselves to the green movement, which is involved in an effort to protect the environment. So this is one of the biggest concerns of even ours also nowadays. We cannot neglect and ignore this part. Climatic changes, you can see around you, isn't it? You can feel that. And it's a very sensitive issue. So this is a very sensitive poem which he has dealt with in this book of yours, isn't it? So what you can see over there in the picture, you can see people cutting trees mercilessly. It's a felling of the trees. So deforestation again is one of the major concerns and issues, right? So let's move on to our poem on killing a tree. So you must have observed people cutting down trees, but can they kill a tree? Is it easy to take someone's life at one go? I think no, isn't it? Life for everyone is very valuable. When a parent nurture their child, isn't it? It takes years of sacrifice and perspiration for them to nurture them, isn't it? And then they grow up into being a child, and then again good adult, they develop into a good human being. So it takes years and years of sacrifice, my dear children. So likewise, it's not that easy to kill a tree, isn't it? For a person, it would be, even a woodcutter, fine, if he just uses his knife, or you can say he uses his weapon, okay, to kill a tree, it's not that easy for him also. It takes much time, it takes much strength to kill a tree. Life is not that easy. You cannot take someone's life at one go, okay? So not a simple jab. Simple jab means simple force or simple rough blow of the knife will do it, will easily kill a tree. Because as I gave you the example of a parent, nurturing his child, isn't it? It takes years and years of sacrifice to help him grow, to nurture him, and finally the child grows into a human being, isn't it? An individual with his own values. So you just see, as you can see in the picture also, it requires water, light, nutrients, warmth, air, and so many essential things are required. And then a sapling grows into plant, and plant into tree, my dear children. So it takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth. Consuming the earth means taking the basic nutrients, consuming the earth, rising out of its crust, that is from its surface, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide. Leprous hide here means discolored bark, ugly bark, and sprouting leaves. And out of its leprous hide then grows a leaf, isn't it? Then grows leaves. So it is not a simple process and not a one-day process. It's not very easy to take someone's life, whether it is a creature or a human being. It takes it takes years and years for them to grow. So you can see the process, isn't it? It slowly consumes the earth, that is the basic nutrients from the earth, and then again it rises out of it, feeding upon its crust. Crust means the upper surface of the earth, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves. Here in this stanza, the poet says that human beings, they hack and chop, isn't it? Chop the trees. That is, they cut roughly by striking the branches with heavy blows, isn't it? But then this alone won't do it, and it's not easy to kill the trees. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal. You can see bleeding bark, isn't it? So bark seems to be bleeding. It means you can see overhead refers to the fluid that oozes out of the part of the tree that has been chopped. So the bleeding bark and the red color of blood here refers to stopping of growth or starting of the end, that is death, you can say. And on contrary, the green twigs mentioned over here, you can see green twigs, isn't it? It refers or speaks about fresh growth and beginning of a new life. So he has contrasted the harbinger of death with that of life. Harbinger of death means here the indicator or announcer, isn't it? The cuckoo is the harbinger of the monsoon. So he says that it's not easy to hack and chop, simply cutting the trees with heavy blow, isn't it? Hacking it and chopping it won't do it. It's not sufficient. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal again. The bleeding bark here refers to the fluid that oozes out of the part of the tree that has been chopped, and it marks the death also over here, isn't it? Whereas green twigs refers to growth and the beginning of a new life. Okay, so the bleeding bark will again heal, and and from close to the ground will rise curl green twigs, miniature boughs. Miniature boughs refers to small branches of trees, mini branches of trees, which if unchecked, isn't it, will expand again to former size, to its previous size. It will again grow into a big size. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal, and from close to the ground will rise curl green twigs, miniature boughs, which if unchecked will expand again to former size. Fine. So a tree takes years together to grow its full size, isn't it? And as you can see, the poet here starts its stanza, the last stanza, with no, right? And what he says, no, the root is to be pulled out. It's not that easy, he says, to kill a tree. What it has to be done, what is the process of killing a tree? Okay, it's a very painful process. The root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. Anchoring earth here means, it refers, you can see over here I've written the meaning. Trees are held securely with the help of roots in the earth. You can see the earth entirely supports the tree, isn't it? It supports its root to maintain its firmity and grip inside its cave, isn't it? Inside, deep beneath, inside her, isn't it? Her here refers to Mother Earth. So the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. It is to be roped, then tied and pulled out, snapped down, isn't it? And then again it is to be chopped down. So it's not that easy to kill the tree, or pulled out entirely out from the earth cave, and the strength of the tree exposed. What is the strength of the tree? Strength of the tree is the root, isn't it? And when it is pulled out, okay, it is the source of its strength. And what is its strength? Root, isn't it? The source is white and wet, the root is white and wet, it is very tender. Okay, so the root of the tree is moist, anti-white when it is pulled out of its hiding, the earth cave, isn't it? Hiding here refers to earth cave. It is very tender and delicate, as it has remained concealed for hidden for years together away from sunlight and air. And the root cannot tolerate the light and heat of the sun and the open air. So once it is exposed, then the matter of scorching and choking, the drying up of the tree after being uprooted. Okay, so when it is exposed, it feels scorched and choked in the sun and the air. Initially it starts changing its color and becomes somewhat brown, as you can see over there. Then the matter of scorching and choking in sun and air, once it is exposed to the outer atmosphere, isn't it? It is exposed to intense heat and sun. It starts changing its color, it turns brown, then it starts losing its tenderness. Before, when it was uprooted, the root was white and wet, and you can see it is one of the most sensitive parts of the tree, hidden for years inside the earth. And what has supported those roots? That's what has been written over there, anchoring earth, isn't it? So here you can say Gradually it withers away and becomes gnarled and twisted. Ultimately life is completely drained out of it, and it leads to death of the whole tree. This is how exposure robs first the root and then the entire tree of its life. This is what happened if you go deep into the interpretation, isn't it? So those who are innocent, right, people those who are innocent are most of the time fooled by cunning people in the world, right? So once you can see the root is exposed, until and unless it was hidden, it was under the protection of mother earth, and as soon as it was exposed to the outer atmosphere, it was robbed, isn't it? It was killed. This is how exposure robs first the root and then the entire tree of its life, right? So if the tree is hacked and chopped and left as such with the root of the tree neither dug out nor injured, the root will continue to provide nourishment to the stump of the tree. The stump will then be covered with tender twigs that will sprout out of its surface. If these twigs are not pruned or hacked or chopped, as the poet said in, it is very necessary sometimes for parent also to scold, isn't it? To scold, to guide their children. Why? If left unchecked, isn't it? So that will, they will never be in discipline, isn't it? And they may grow into a rogue bee. So that's the reason it is very necessary to check the things again and again. So likewise, the trees, the twigs are to be checked, isn't it? Because it may grow into its original size, the wounded bark of the tree will get healed and the tree will be as big as it was earlier. The threat to life will be overcome and hacking or chopping will fail to kill the tree. The safe root will rescue and the tree and help it to regain its lost glory. So here we complete our poem, isn't it? And before I just bid you goodbye, isn't it? Let me discuss some of the poetic devices with you. So no rhyme scheme is there in this poem. It is written in free verse. There is no rhyme or rhythm enjambment when one sentence continues into two or more lines. You can see not a simple jab of the knife will do it. It has grown slowly consuming. So there's no punctuation mark. There's no comma. Okay, it continues to the next line. So here we can find enjambment, metaphor, indirect comparison, leprous height. Okay, in the first stanza, the unclear color of the surface of the trunk of trees compared to the skin of a person suffering from leprosy. So leprous height, ugly. I used this word while I was explaining the stanza to you. Alliteration is there. Bleeding bark, BB is repeated. White and wet, W is repeated. Repetition is also found, pulled out, isn't it? In the last stanza, you can see these words are repeated over there. So repetition. Hope you have understood the poem. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.